Hey, what's going on, Brad?
What's up, Braden?
How we doing? Welcome everybody to Ballin Out Plus. We are back after being gone from a certain flood, we'll call it, because
Monsoon
in the basement of Burke the Bullet household. We had a storm back in July. It came through 100-mile plus winds. The backyard looked like Katrina went through and destroyed everything. Then the sub pump stopped working, and here we are. So I'm glad to be back. I'm glad that we're able to get this going again. Thank you so much for all your patience. So we are back at it. And Brad, how have you been, man? It has been a minute.
It has been way too long, but obviously life throws you curveballs, right? So you gotta do what you can. You gotta sit back and you gotta hit the hanger out the ballpark to the best
high
of your
and tight.
ability. Yeah,
Chin music.
So we've been good, man. Busy, kids sports takes over pretty much all summer, and now my 13-year-old, now 14, 13-year-old is in the middle school football team. He's 7th grade, and then my 14-year-old is going to be doing club volleyball for a boys club volleyball here soon too.
Heck
So
yeah.
So yeah, just picking right up where we left off once baseball season ended, brother. So, but I couldn't be more excited for the fact that we're week 4 of the college football already.
College football, yep.
And then week 3 of the NFL.
Well,
so
technically week 4, but wasn't there something the week ahead?
There was a week 0. They called it
week 1/2,
like Agent 0.
Yep.
Well, hey, by the way, brother, cheers to a long overdue.
To all things that are true, this bud is for you. I don't know if I'm allowed to show the labeling, so I'll hide it.
We're not sponsored yet. Mm-hmm.
Are we? No, we're not.
No. But we might want to be like if we were.
That's right. So we're gonna kick off tonight. We're going to talk a little bit of Thursday night football, both NFL and NCAA. It has been a really, as you can see, Brad, I have 0 Notre Dame memorabilia up right now.
Have you ripped one down for every pissed off play they've ran?
So what had happened was, I started a little campfire that turned into those high school bonfire pep rally kind of things.
Oh yeah, I know what those are. Yeah.
So, I had fire department here asking why I had a massive fire, and then they saw it was my house, and they're like, "Oh, Saturday night, we understand." So, still not happy, man. And I already sent you this screenshot, but I kind of feel bad going against the old Notre Dame. But I'm going Tar Heels this week.
Yeah, I think obviously it's tough because you don't know exactly what this Notre Dame offense is really capable of. The defense played exceptionally well in game 1. I know Ohio State hung some points, but I mean, they were out there for, I think I calculated like 21 plays more than Notre Dame's offense was out there. So that defense for game 1, with all the intensity coming up to it, was just gassed. I mean, you can't put it any other way. They were just flat out exhausted. So they played their asses off in the first half. And we saw exactly what I feared. And again, I'm a Notre Dame fan too, but we saw what I feared, and that was a Tommy Rees led offense just go stale in the second half. And that happened in game 1 against Ohio State, but more surprisingly, it happened against Marshall. And now listen, I give Marshall credit because Marshall is a good football team. I think that they are under recognized. I'm not going to say undervalued, but they're under recognized. I heard it during the game. I heard the commentators talking about the running back for Marshall, and I apologize, I don't remember his name, but the running back for Marshall was actually a 5-star recruit that was originally signed and played for Florida State. I wish, that would have been some shit. He was originally signed, played for Florida State, had some injury issues, took a year off, and was like doing car rentals for like wasn't Enterprise rental car, but he was doing like car rentals.
Hertz.
Yeah, somewhere like that. He was doing car rentals, ended up coming to try out, and Marshall picked him up. So I mean, he's a legit 5-star running back. So he's obviously a talented running back. So I think Notre Dame looked at that game like, hey, we got Marshall in the bag. Like, no big deal. It's a bounce back game. Don't have to prepare for it. No problem.
Yep.
But we saw it there too. I mean, Tommy Rees, I don't know what he's doing on the offensive side of the ball. Now, they got the win against Cal, but again, I don't know. How many points did they put up in the second half of that game? Was it 10?
Who? Marshall or Notre Dame?
Notre Dame. No, the second half of the game against Cal.
Oh, against Cal?
It's like 10 or 13.
Yeah, I think 13.
Like nothing. And I'm like, like this offense should be putting up points.
Oh, yes.
I mean, it shouldn't be an issue at all. No. And it's been sad to watch. So I hope they get it figured out. I just, I wasn't sold on Tommy Rees last year, and this is making my case even more so.
He's got to go. He's got to go.
Yeah, Freeman has a choice to make.
It's honestly, I was kind of pissed he didn't go with Kelly because he was part of the problem too last year.
Yeah, I agree.
So I like Tommy Rees. I liked him as a quarterback. He made, obviously, just like every other Notre Dame quarterback, he has his really high moments, and then he just like, what happened? Like, you just had an amazing, march down the field, and then you just throw a pick on the 1-yard line in the end zone. Like, but Marshall's running back was, I might butcher the first name, but Kalen LeBourne.
Yeah.
31 carries. He was Jonathan Taylor is what he was being. 31 carries, 163.
Yeah.
1 touchdown, average about 5.3 yards a carry.
Yeah. And again, that's against
Jonathan Taylor, not second week Jonathan Taylor.
That's against a team that, last year, and Marcus Freeman is a defensive coordinator by trade. So, I mean, like, you can't sit there and look at that game and be like, oh, I'm proud of the way our defense played. So, like, again, game 1, defense played fantastic. Game 2, they got freaking shredded.
Yeah.
All right. And again, I think that was a look past game. I think it was just kind of we're going to look past Marshall and get on to Cal. And again, Cal's not a great football team either. That should have been a walkover game too.
It's going to be that way all year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, but
I agree.
Sorry, I'm not sorry because I know that's
sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. They were who we thought they were.
We let them off the hook.
You let them off the hook.
I don't know, man.
We need some Rockney. We need some Rockney.
Newt.
We need Lou Holtz to come back to Notre Dame and really spark up the team this year. Is what they need. Talk about
man,
more with a silver spoon in my mouth.
Oh man, I miss the old Lou Holtz era.
Dude, he has, if you go onto YouTube and you search Lou Holtz speech and just go through there, and some of them are the same, just at different, colleges or wherever he gave the speech during graduation, or they're really good. And I watch them every now and then just to, I've got plenty of traveling time on the road these days. So, but yeah. So Brad, let's jump into, since we're talking college, and then we'll kind of end off of NFL. So let's jump to college football for the week. Kind of what you like for tomorrow, and kind of what you have as far as bets, because I heard you were talking pretty excited about a certain game tomorrow.
I am, yeah. So
on.
yeah, so let me jump over because I had the NFL pulled up, but that's all right. So
sorry.
We
can go to NFL. We can go to
NFL. Nope. We're already here, bud. We're already here. Hey, this is how we do things. We just go on the fly, right? So obviously there's 3 games on tomorrow. Or 2 games on tomorrow? There's 3. Three. Yeah. So you've got 3 games on tomorrow. You have West Virginia against Virginia Tech, which if anybody has ever watched a night game at Virginia Tech and have watched just the stadium. Where's that at? It's black. What is that called? Black. Where's Virginia Tech? I'm
Virginia
spacing.
Tech, Blacksburg.
Yeah, Blacksburg. Yeah, Blacksburg. If you watch the night games, lights go off, and all of a sudden over the speakers, what do you hear, Brady? Inner Sandman.
And here they come entering the stadium, and that crowd is. I remember when Notre Dame played there a couple years, 3, 4, 5, however many years ago, and they went to that stadium. I'm like, this game, we're screwed. Like Notre Dame ended up pulling it out, but it was one of those games that Notre Dame was decent that year, and that was the game that they could have ruined not going to the college playoff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
I don't remember what the turnout was. I know Notre Dame did fairly well that year, but I remember watching that Virginia Tech game and was just like, oh my God.
Yeah, you're thinking to yourself,
how can you play in that atmosphere?
Oh crap. Yeah.
So
obviously that's the first game on the slate. 7:30 kickoff for that game.
ESPN.
Yeah. I don't have an angle on this game.
I do.
I'm excited for it. I'll let you get into yours because I know you have one, but I don't have one yet. This is a live play for me. So West Virginia at the start of the season was a team that I was very high on. I loved West Virginia to start the season, and they have they're 1-2, not played great, not played up to their potential. Yep, like that.
One of those. Yep.
And you're going into probably one of the rowdiest atmospheres in a college environment for a night game. I would be terrified to be West Virginia. However, I know how explosive that offense can be. So I'm like, dang, what do you do? So what side are you on, Braden?
Well, and like we discussed earlier in the week, that is exactly what I'm doing. And I'm going Virginia Tech money line plus 104 on FanDuel when I placed that bet. Which was, what is today? 21st?
Today's the 21st. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So right around noon today, I placed it plus 104 Virginia Tech money line. Put
so right now, on it. Yeah, right now Virginia Tech's sitting at plus 114 on FanDuel, plus 115 on DraftKings. So
West Virginia?
No, Virginia Tech.
Oh, it's like, dang, that line flipped.
Yeah, sorry, that's my fault.
So yeah, so it went up a few points there.
Yeah.
Or down, however you want to play it. But yeah, plus 104 is what I got it for, 2 units.
Yeah.
So
now I know, just looking at this game from the tickets standpoint, you've got 65% of the betting slips are on West Virginia, with only 40% of the money hitting West Virginia. So obviously you flip that, you've got 35% of the bet slips on Virginia Tech with 61% of the money. You've got a lot of sharp money, good sharp money that is also hitting Virginia Tech, hitting the Techs. Yep. You got to get the Sharks, baby. Got to get the Sharks. Line opened up at 2.5. It's obviously come back to 1.5. That's why it shows that the money is there. So I think it's a good play. I think it's the right play. If you're going to take this game early, before kickoff, I think Virginia Tech is the way to go.
Yep.
I think this is going to be a pretty good hard fought game. You're going to find out. You're going to find out pretty early whether that total of 50.5. That's actually kind of where my head goes. I watch for this game to be competitive, but I almost want to see. I haven't looked to see what the first half total is, But I think these two teams try and figure each other out in the first half. And I would almost lean taking that first half under. If it was sitting around like 28 or so, 28, 29, somewhere in that ballpark, I may consider leaning towards the first half under.
Yep.
Because I fear the second half, one of two things. One of the teams kind of needing to fight back. Maybe they get down early and they're just trying to fight back, so they're trading blows. Or two, it goes into overtime and then you're completely boned.
Yeah.
So that would be
the weather for the Hokies tomorrow is 75 degrees, scattered storm or scattered rain. So
okay.
Not really, the wind's not really going to be a factor. 85% humidity, but I don't see the weather playing a role in tomorrow night unless the rain turns into a storm. And but so I think the weather's out of the equation for tomorrow. Do they have a grass or is it outdoor turf? Okay,
it's grass. Yeah, it's grass.
A lot of schools have that outdoor turf.
Yeah, a lot of schools are going to it, and you'll hear a lot of analysts that are former players talk about how impactful that is. Yeah, because you're destroying players' bodies. You really are. I know it's easier to maintain and it looks prettier and everything else, but you look at the number of ACL injuries that have happened. I bet if you go back to the increase in ACL injuries and you compare that to when turf fields started to really become prevalent, I bet there would be a correlation there. And again, I'm not a doctor. I'm nobody. I'm just a bald fat guy sitting here talking about sports, but I really think that there's something that
you're PHAT though.
Yeah, appreciate you, Paul.
Appreciate you.
But yeah, you look at these two teams. Obviously West Virginia puts up a lot of points. 44 points in their first game. 31 points in their first game, 42 points in their second game, and then 65 points in the third game. So they obviously are out there putting up a ton of points, right? Virginia Tech, on the other hand, does not score a ton of points, 17, 27, and 27. But they only give up 20, 10, and 7. So their defense is fantastic. So that's why I said I lean towards a first half under, because of the fact that I think West Virginia is going to have to figure out Virginia Tech's defense. Virginia Tech doesn't score a ton of points. So it's going to be a lot of clock management in that first half. And the second half is when it could potentially open up. So that would be my pre-snap angle. But again, this is a game that I look at completely live for some opportunities to play into this one. You give me one, maybe two scores in the first couple of drives, and I see that total creeping up over 60. I will hammer the under and give me under 60. Give me 10 points, and we'll try and take that one to the bank. So. Yeah. That's game one. I'm very excited for that game. That game, I'm stoked to watch it. It'll be a blast to watch. Second game on the slate is Coastal Carolina and Georgia State. Some interesting news with this one. Not a lot of people are going to be tuning into this game. It's not a high viewed game.
7:30 ESPN2. Most people don't realize they have ESPN2 because they only watch ESPN.
Yeah, right. But you're getting a 3-0 Coastal Carolina team going up against an 0-3 Georgia State team. There are, about 9,000 tickets put on this game already. So it is being bet, but most of the public's not going to be betting this game. One of the weird things that I did notice with this game was the line movement on this. I'm going to pull it up just to make sure that I'm still accurate. So so it's opened up at 1.5. Currently sitting at Georgia State +2. So Georgia State +1.5 moved to Georgia State +2. However, if you look at the tickets, there are only 29% of the tickets, but 85% of the money is on Georgia State. However, the line has moved backwards. So there's some reverse line movement on this game. So if you guys are watching this, I would be super careful with betting this game, because even though the big money's on Georgia State and give them the points and give them the home turf and everything else, Vegas obviously feels something, because they're saying, we're taking all this money, but we want people. We're still going to give you odds to bet on Georgia State. We still want you to continue to bet on Georgia State. We'll give you more points. We'll give you another half a point. We'll take the hook away and give you 2.
Yeah.
So just be careful of this game. Big money, sharp money, values on Georgia State for this game. All the metrics point to that, but the reverse line movement is obviously something that scares me and worries me. So
I'm steering on DraftKings. FanDuel still says 2.5.
So it's 2 on DraftKings, yeah. Still, it's 2 minus 110 on DraftKings. And did you say it's 2.5 on FanDuel? So yeah, it's come back a full point. And again, 85% of the money on the team that was currently, or to open up, was plus 1.5, and now sitting at plus 2.5 on some books. So just steer clear of this game, unless you really feel like you have a gut feeling on it. I'm going to steer clear completely of this game. I'm very excited for this. Georgia State that environment's pretty cool too. Kind of a lot like Virginia Tech, just not well known. But I will be completely staying away from this one. So
where do they play?
They're playing at Georgia State.
Right, but does Georgia State play in Atlanta? Where do they play?
That I'm not. It is at the Georgia State Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah.
Oh, I'm surprised well, it's not that big of a game, so I guess they really wouldn't want to try to pack the Superdome.
Yeah, I doubt it. And I think if I remember correctly, I think not that really matters come Sunday, but I feel like the Falcons this week. No, they're on the road. So yeah, I mean, like you said, it's not a huge game. It's not like Georgia Bulldogs coming into town, right? So you're looking at Georgia State.
More fans come in for Georgia than they do Atlanta.
But Coastal Carolina's a good football team. So obviously there's something out there that somebody feels, somebody sees. And again, I'm just gonna steer clear of it completely.
Brad, will you tell the listeners?
I will. What am I telling?
Tell them right now. Like, where do you go for your statistics?
So I use a plethora of sites, if you will, but the number one site that I will say that I go to, and I'm looking at tickets, I'm looking at money, I'm looking at Sharp, I'm looking at Public, I'm looking at trends, I'm looking at over-under trends, I'm looking at last few games played, is I use the Action Network app. It's available on App Store, Android. You can get it on your computer, but Action Network, there is a subscription to it, but it is very reasonable. I will tell you if you're using it. Yep, that's the one.
Oh, sorry, I don't even know where my camera is. I'm looking right at it.
That is the one. So cool. I definitely recommend getting it. There is a free, I think 1 week trial with it. You can get a lot of benefit by not having the subscription, but I paid for the subscription because it does give me some added benefits. Again, it gives me a little bit of the sharp analysis. They'll do some different things where they'll talk about like prop bets, and they'll kind of grade it and everything else and say, oh, this prop's an A+, or this prop's an F, or maybe this spread is, a C, and you're looking at it like, I really love the Bills this week. And they're like, well, because of this and that, we grade this, a B-. So then you're like, okay, well, let me dig into this a little bit further. Right. So I use it for statistics. And then I also use it just a little bit for some information. Just kind of how, but I don't really go in and look at the articles because I'm not somebody that wants to go in and read somebody else's opinion. There are games that I will say that I tail. There are things that I do tail, but it's games that I already feel like I have a feeling on, and I just go in and I jump in because you can get yourself in trouble by just blindly tailing someone.
Oh, absolutely.
So, but yeah, it's Action Network. It's fantastic. I like it a lot. I know Covers is another good one that people like to use. I don't use Covers. And then obviously, I'll look at ESPN. I'll do some research on my own, that kind of thing. But Action Network is probably the biggest one that I would say that I use 1,000%.
Awesome.
So
and I know anybody that's betting out there, if you want to see the different lines, the different juices between the different platforms. And we're not affiliated with OddsJam at all, but I see a lot of people using it, and I've looked at it being in Indiana. It's, some of these things we can see, but there's only so much we can do. But you can see between, Caesars and MGM and FanDuel, DraftKings, you can get the best bang for your buck, which when you do sports betting, you should always have more than one book. You don't want to, because at some point they'll shut you down. If you win a certain amount, you get to a certain point, they will shut you down. So
Well, and conversely, I mean, just like you said, I mean, just a moment ago, we were talking about that Georgia State game, and Georgia State was a 2 on DraftKings, and they were plus 2.5 on FanDuel. Well, give yourself the hook. You know what I mean? Like, give yourself the extra half a point,
especially if the juice
and try and avoid the push. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I'm a proponent of having, several books in your bank. Now, I will tell you that, there are people that I know personally that have several books, and therefore they get themselves in a lot of trouble because maybe they'll go BK on one book. If I say BK, that means broke. So they'll go BK on one book, and then they'll just reload. And I'm like, well, no, don't do that. Like, wait for a promo or something like that. Let them incentivize you to come back. You can use them. Now, if you see a line and you're like, oh, I love that line, and it's only available on MGM and I don't have any funds on there, okay, fine. Put whatever you're going to bet on that one game in that book.
Yep.
And then bet that one game. Don't reload a ton of money into there.
Yep.
Because you're just going to end up getting yourself into trouble. Responsible gambling, right? Gamblers are supposed to be responsible.
That's right.
Yep. But I do agree with Braden 1,000%. You should have more than one book at your disposal. Again, just for the mere fact of something we're going to talk about later with the NFL and Jacoby Brissett's props coming up for tomorrow night's game. So we'll get into that. We'll get into that later on. But the third game for tomorrow is Illinois at home against Chattanooga. Line on this
champagne.
Line on this one is Illinois minus 18. I'm not sure if there's a book out there line 18 is the consensus line on this one right now. Total on it's 39.5.
FanDuel doesn't even have it on there.
No, they don't. I mean, listen, I'm full on confident when it comes to Illinois in this game tomorrow. I saw it at 17.5 and I did not bite in time. I got it at 18. But I still loved it at 18 enough to put more than just one unit on this game. I think Illinois at home, Thursday night, 8:30, Big Ten Network. You got a school in Chattanooga. Now, listen, they're 3-0 coming into play. However, if you go back and look at the teams that they've played, they've played Wolford. They've played what is that? Northern. I don't even know. It's not even pulling it up. But the caliber of teams that they have played has not been great. Illinois has beat Wyoming, beat Virginia, and then barely lost to Indiana on the road. So they're holding teams to a pretty low scoring total as well. 6 points, 3 points, and I think 23 points in their 3 games. So Illinois' got a good defense. The total actually is enticing to me as well, but 39 is not a great number for me. Typically in a game this big of a spread, I'll watch for much of what I said as far as the West Virginia game goes. I'm going to watch for a team to score early. Maybe I get it in the first 2-3 minutes of the not 2-3 minutes. Maybe I get it in the first.
If Chattanooga gets on the board first, just from being the dog, everybody's probably talking smack about it.
Well, and if they get the toss, they're likely going to take the ball because they're going to try and hit Illinois in the mouth first.
Yep.
So I'm watching for a team to score in the first handful of minutes, and then I can try and grab an extra 5 to 6 points, maybe on the total. And then at that point, if I see a mid 40s on an 18-point spread, I'm absolutely going to take that. And I'm going to hit that. I'm going to hit the under on that one. Yeah, it just makes sense. But I do have Illinois. I do have Illinois routing in this one. I have them winning by like 24, 25 points. So I don't even think the 18's even in question. Yeah, on a vibe, caught a vibe. But yeah, so I definitely love this game quite a bit. And I'm very excited to see what happens in Champaign tomorrow with the Illini. So I don't know. Do you have anything on this one? Not yet.
No. I only did the West Virginia Tech game just because, again, what we talked about. I going in there to Blacksburg and trying to go against the Sandman. I mean, if it was another team other than West Virginia, I'd be like, sorry, Virginia Tech, but West Virginia has been struggling as of late. So
yeah. No, listen, I think, and that's the one thing that I will say. And I heard somebody talking about it. It was either today or yesterday. As far as if I have 9 plays on the day, I love all 9 plays. If I have 5 plays on the day, I love all 5 plays. If I only have 1 play on the day, I love that 1 play. But I'm not going to be just chasing plays just because I'm not an action junkie. I don't need to just have action in the game. That's why I said, in the West Virginia Tech game, I'll watch for an angle. If I don't see it, I just back out. I just watch it. I just enjoy the football game, right?
Well, see, that's what happened last night or yesterday. Well, it ended up being last night. The round robins that I was doing.
Oh, the Nerfies. Yeah. Nerfies. Sorry. I have football on the brain. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Yeah. There wasn't fucking football on yesterday.
I went three for 3 on the round robin in the first, 3 games.
Hit a bang.
Then I hit, yeah. Yep. Went up big. And then what did I tell you? 14 units?
14.
And then got cocky.
We all did.
And had to double dip. I had to go back in and do the last 3 games of the night. Banged out the first one. I was really excited. Second one, 2 outs, runners on second and third, and the left fielder, the left fielder just kind of jogged to the ball, and I'm like, make an attempt, man. Like, get dirty, dive.
Yeah.
Get it. And then so the Padres ended up scoring. Padres?
Yeah, that was the first team that screwed you.
Yeah, and then the next game, I bet the Yankees would score, and that ended up being a Nerfy. So I actually bet, I went Nerfy, Yerfy, and then it ended up being Nerfy. Say that 10 times fast.
No thanks.
And anybody that doesn't know what that is, Nerfy is no run first inning. Yerfy is yes runs first inning. So I thought it was going to hit. I just needed 1 to hit. And well, I needed 2 to hit technically.
But I'll ask you a question there. So I'm going to stop you. So with the 3 games that you played early in the day, would you say you did a fairly substantial amount of research? You looked into them, you dug into them a little bit. You kind of looked at the pitching matchups. You looked at the weather. You looked at a few different things.
I didn't look at pitching matchups. I just kind of went from the hip and kind of what has happened through previously in the season. And I don't know. I feel like some of the teams that were playing that plan on making the playoffs, I think I was kind of looking at those games too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was more of a feeling, not really a hard depth research.
See, and that's where I get myself. So like anytime that I've done that before, I'll have a good Saturday morning, or maybe I'll have a good 1:00 games in the NFL, right? Or, college basketball season rolls around and I have a fantastic, Thursday or Friday, or maybe I grab some action on a Tuesday or Wednesday. And then, come Saturday, you play 1 or 2 games and you hit those, you're like, all right, I'm rolling high right now. So then you just start firing and you don't end up doing your research. And so that's kind of, you kind of open your shirt a little bit, show off your chest. And you're like, all right, I'm going to just fire. And, and that's when you end up losing because, I mean, it is Vegas for a reason. And so it's a matter of trying to figure out what angles or what opportunities you might have for plays. And when you go in and just start firing from the hip, you're going to lose more than you're going to win. And I would say I would caution anybody that's out there doing that. If you're having a great day, well, I mean, you can, but like if you do that, just dive into the games and say, okay, I have a real strong feeling on these because of this, this, and this. Because I guarantee you, if you go back and you look at those 3 games that you bet, obviously hindsight's always 20/20.
Yeah.
But if you go back into those 3 games and you look at what you bet, like maybe the pitching matchup for the Yankees game, you're like, oh, well, crap. I probably would have went Nerfy there because, I mean, these pitchers, both have a combined, 3.45 ERA. They're, however many in their last 10 or 12 for Nerfies.
Yeah.
Just there's some additional research that goes into those. And maybe that play turns into a different situation for you. So if you're up big on a day, or even if you're up a little and you feel like refiring, maybe you're playing with house money on the day, fine, do it, but don't just blindly do it.
Yeah.
Put some research into it, just like you would if it was your first bet of the day, and make a smart play.
Well, and that's where, and I know we're kind of getting off away from, because we kind of put baseball to bed for the rest of the season.
Fuck baseball.
Right.
God.
And we've talked like next year, we're going to look into more strategic, strategic betting, because in baseball, I mean, you can get so lost real quick. And it, I mean, you could look at the statistics and be like, every third Thursday of every other month,
right,
all the teams nerfy. It's like, I want to do it. So then you do it, and it's like, what? Really?
Yeah.
Cubs.
Why? How'd I miss?
Thanks, Cubs.
Right.
You know, I bet for you guys to help me out, and you guys screwed me, my own team.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just because you never know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you do get a lot of teams with solid bullpens or weak bullpens that end up coming in and ruining the end of games. And, so most of the way through the season, I just said to myself, hey, listen, if I'm going to play a major league game, I'm going to look at pitching matchups, and I'm only going to play first 5.
Yep.
And I just go from there. However, you're still going to get pitchers that are going to get beat up. You're still going to, and so then you can't get frustrated and just stop the research. So you're right. Like I am not, when it comes to sports betting, my strengths are not in Major League Baseball. However, we have fans out there that love to bet Major League Baseball. So we need to be able to articulate bets that make sense for our fans, because we only ever do this # for the fans. So it's like, you have to be smarter bettors when it comes to baseball. And so to make that happen, we have to be able to put in the extra work. It's going to be more work, but it's going to end up being worth it, because then we're going to be able to bet something. Christ, I've taken the last 3.5, 4 months off of betting just because I haven't had shit to bet. So it'll be nice to figure, or not to figure that out, to get to work on that and
find a strategy and stick to it.
Yep, absolutely.
I mean, in the long run, betting's going to go like this. No matter how good you are, it's going to happen. So, and don't look at it. I have a bad habit, and I still do this, and I've been trying to break away from it, but I have a bad habit of looking at my plus and minus units of the day.
Oh, Christ. Yeah. Yeah.
Go week. Look at what you did through the week, and then reevaluate for the next week or something. If you look at it every single day, like, I was down, 8 units today, or I was up 2 units. Awesome. But look at overall through the week, because that's really where it matters, because every day, I mean, you're going to have some random, monsoon came through and destroyed your bet because the storm made the field too wet and
flooded your basement.
Flooded your basement.
Too soon?
Line gets clogged and it bursts, and there's some pump running, but all it's doing is just funneling water right back into your basement because the line's clogged. But so do that. And
because you're only listen, if you're hitting over 60% of your bets, you're damn near a professional gambler. I mean, that's kind of that's the statistics. Like 60-65% of your bets, if you're hitting those, you are a professional fucking gambler, and you're doing something right. So, but Braden's exactly right. Like, track it. He's really good at that. I'm not.
I haven't been.
But track your bets. If you're really worried about it, track it and see how you're doing. That's why I stopped betting baseball, because I started looking at, how are my baseball bets going? Oh shit, I'm losing a lot of money. Probably should just stop until I figure out something else. Because
it was new. It was new for us this year. I mean, betting in general wasn't new to me, but at the point of what we were doing, it was kind of new. So I would just, on an NFL night, hey, Patrick Mahomes is gonna throw, 2.5 touchdowns. I'm gonna hit the over on that.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I did. I kind of shot from the hip quite a bit, but now, after we've talked about betting and everything, it's a little more strategic other than baseball.
Yep. Have a strategy.
So yeah, but yeah, that kind of wraps up the Thursday night college football. So for anybody that's just now joining us, we only got about probably 18 minutes left in the show tonight. But go to YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, follow us at Ballin Out Plus. You can also follow Brad and I on TikTok, which is very comical. You can follow Brad at Ballin Out Plus Brad, and you can follow me at Ballin Out Braden. Or you can email us at info@ballinoutplus.com if you have any questions, concerns. You don't like, Brad's shirt. Brad, show him the t-shirt.
Fuck around and find out.
Man.
From Grunt Style. Sorry,
wrong sleeve.
Grunt Style.
There you go. But you can also listen to the podcast at it's been a while. Apple Podcast and Spotify at Ballin Out Plus as well. So feel free to go in there and listen. And then we also have our website, www.ballinoutplus.com. And there you have it. So yeah, that's it for that. We will now jump into before we jump into it, I wanted to bring up the promos that FanDuel and DraftKings are having right now.
Yeah.
And if you follow my TikTok, I kind of do a video of these every single week, just so everybody is aware of the different promos. Right now, I believe I'm freezing. Hold on. Got the wheel of death here.
So yeah, the big DraftKings one that's going on right now is the money line bet. So basically, if you place a pre-game money line bet on either the Browns or the Steelers, if either team gets up by 7 and you've placed a bet on that said team, so if I think Steelers are going to win, I hit them money line plus 160. If at some point the Steelers get up by 7, guess what? My bet pays out
immediately.
Instantly. Conversely, same thing with the Browns. Browns are minus 190. If you think that they're going to win, you put your money on them. If they get up by 7, you get your payout instantaneously as well. So that is the DraftKings one.
Yep, and it does not matter if your team loses. So even though you bet Cleveland money line and the Steelers won, but the Browns got up by 7 points, you still win your bet. So that's awesome.
You don't have to give the money back.
And then I believe FanDuel has the same game parlay.
No sweat.
A no sweat bet. It's you have to bet 3 or more bets.
Yes.
Do you have that pulled up?
Yeah, so it's basically it's 3 or more legs. The final wager must be plus 400 or longer, so plus 400 or plus 8,000, whatever you want to be.
Up to $10.
And basically, what's that?
$10 max.
Yes, it is a $10 max. If is it a $10 max?
Yeah, place a 3+ leg same game parlay on Thursday Night Football, 9/22 tomorrow.
The only reason why I'm thinking
in free bets, $10 max if your wager loses.
Okay, I'm just gonna double check that. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because it might be based off of, because mine's a $50 max, so it's based off of your betting style. So however your account, so that's why I wanted to double check. So users might have a $10, users might have a $25, users might have a $50, users might have 150, 200, 300, 500. I don't know what it is, but there is going to be a max with that. But yes, so if you do place that game prior to kickoff.
So who bets more, Brad? But I don't think it's more bets. Do you think it's more bets, or do you think it's the amount of bets?
It is the size of the bets. Yes, sir.
Okay, sorry, size.
Yep, that's okay.
Size does matter in this instance, people.
It does. But yeah, so you place the bet, and if it loses, you get you basically get a refund in free bets. So what's that?
You get a coupon. It's like at Kroger.
You get a coupon.
You get a coupon. Fun coupons.
And it's 100% wager match. So if it's not like you have to bet 250 to get the $50 free bet max.
Right.
it's 50 for 50. So, I'm going to go out. I'll find a 3-legger. I'll put it up on TikTok, my little 3-leg parlay. It'll be my $50, no sweat, and I'll throw it out there. If it hits, great. Guess what?
If it doesn't hit, you get your money back.
Yeah, you get a free. Bet. So find some
on your end, Brad. Do they when they give you the refund? Do they just give it to you in increments of $5 or $10?
It's a one-time. It's a one-time free bet.
Because I've noticed on DraftKings when I've done something similar to this, it was like up to $25 max, but they gave that $25 back to me in $5 increments.
A lot of times that happens with like deposit matches and different things. They give it to you in broken up free bets. But this is, since you're wagering 50, you get a one-time $50 wager back.
Okay.
That's at least the way that it's been. That's the way that's been
done for me. Yeah. I figured I'd ask.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, don't go, obviously you want to try and give yourself a shot to win at this, because you don't want to just throw $50 into something. So you go and do some research, you go in and build a parlay that makes sense, but maybe the odds are long. Maybe you're trying to turn 50 into $500, right? You make a little bit of a longer parlay and you throw it out there and you just try and see what happens with it. It's a no sweat, right? No sweat. That's why they call it a no sweat same game parlay. So
if you're sweating, get a ShamWow.
Yes.
Squeegee that off. Yep.
What he said. So definitely take a look at that. If you're a FanDuel user, or a DraftKings user, those two right there are good plays. I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to touch the $7 or the 7-point instant payout.
I didn't opt in either. Make sure you guys opt in too. Don't don't go in there and place your bet, because I've done that before, not thinking about opting in.
Yeah.
You gotta opt in, and then
opt in.
On your phone, it should automatically send you, after you opt in, into
the game.
To make that bet. So but make sure you opt in. Don't, like I always say on TikTok, don't leave money on the table.
Yeah. Don't leave money on the table, boys. No. Or girls. So yeah, I'm not really probably going to jump on the 7 points. Cause again, you're looking at a game where you've got the Brownies -4 at home. You've got a super low total, 38 points on DraftKings. I don't know what it was on FanDuel. I just had it pulled up.
For what?
For the total.
50.5.
It can't be 50.5. If it's 50.5, I'm going to hammer it.
Remember
38.5.
38.5.
Yeah, so you've got 38 on DraftKings and 38.5 on FanDuel. So you've got a very low total, which means Vegas doesn't see this game getting out of hand either side. You've got two teams that are run-heavy offenses. So a lot of clock getting chewed up, and good secondaries. Questions on the defensive line for a few of these teams. The Steelers, without TJ Watt being there, I mean, that was a huge blow to them. Absolutely, just feel terrible for that kid. But good thing he didn't have to have surgery on that pec, and he can come back. I don't know exactly how long he's out. I didn't see the
brother like brother.
Didn't see
the JJ's always out too. JJ is JJ out for the season?
I believe so. Ooh, I'm not sure.
They could have used him in some of these games. But yeah.
So, I mean, you're looking at two teams. You're looking at a divisional game. There's obviously a ton of bad blood. If you remember, you go a couple years back with the Myles Garrett, hitting the Duck. What was his name? Mason Rudolph. Yeah, hitting Mason Rudolph across the head with the helmet. There's just a bunch, and again, you're not too far away from each other in this matchup. I mean, you're 2.5, 3 hours. So I mean, you're going to get a lot of Steelers fans probably coming into this game.
It's a rival game. I mean, it's
1,000%,
huge rival game.
Yeah, 1,000%. I will say,
I'm going to be talking smack to Fermies. because Fermies are Steeler fans, and so I'm
just gonna... our good friends, Rodney, Natalie, Brandon, the whole Fermi family, huge Steeler fans, from the Pittsburgh area originally.
Obnoxious
so obviously it makes sense, but yeah.
Brandon's clap every time they do something good.
Remember that.
I miss Sundays, man. I miss Sundays at Rodney. We gotta get Rodney on here sometime, and
we will. We'll get him on here. He would do it. We have to do the show before like 8 o'clock though, because it goes to bed at like 8:15.
He goes night.
Yeah, he's
sleepy.
He's an old ass man. So, but I don't know. There's a few angles in this game that I like. First one that I absolutely loved, and I feel terrible for bringing this up because I've already nuked this play, but Jacoby Brissett rushing yards. I got it at 9.5. The total has already jumped up to 12.5 on DraftKings. FanDuel has not put up the rushing total yet. I think they're scared to put up the rushing total right now. But I got 9.5, and I absolutely obliterated that. I think he goes for 15, but 12 scares me a little bit, so I'm not going to touch it.
He's average what? 20?
Is that what it is?
First game he had like 40 some, I thought.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I like that a lot. I think the defensive line gets after him. Like I said, they're going to be trying to work on those check downs, kind of covering the running back. So they're going to give him some lanes to open up in the middle, be able to scramble out of some situations. So I think 9.5 is a gimme. So that's why I took it. And then a couple other things. Obviously, you've got your anytime touchdown scorers, which will probably be things that I put into my same game parlay that I'll put into there. Obviously, you got Najee, you got Chubb, Hunt. Yeah, I mean, you've got a few players that you can kind of look at, making something happen. I think we're going to see a Chase Claypool sighting tomorrow. We could even see a Pat Freiermuth sighting tomorrow.
I was going to say Freiermuth. I like him for anytime touchdown this week.
Yeah. So I think there's going to be a couple options there for some anytime touchdown scorers. But definitely be looking at TikTok tomorrow, because I will post my same game parlay, no sweat bet. That way everybody can kind of see where I'm laying my money at, and trying to hit a good same game parlay. So I don't know, Braden, do you have anything on this game tomorrow yet at all?
Okay. No. I hit heavy on Saturday's games. So but no, Steelers Browns, and like you said, like there wasn't much on FanDuel for rushing props yet for Jacoby, so not yet. I don't have anything yet. I may wait. I may actually do live betting tomorrow, kind of see how the game's playing out.
Yeah, it's another one where I'm like, I could see the total coming down early. So maybe hitting an over there makes sense, just because you have the chance of it going to overtime. I don't know. It'll be a feeler. I think, obviously, I think one of the things that we're going to try and do too, something I've been thinking about, haven't even had a chance to talk to you about, Braden, but like, if there's a game going on and, we see an opportunity, I might just throw up a TikTok real quick, like, hey, this is, Ballin Out Plus Brad. Wanted to reach out to you with a live opportunity to hit a play real quick. You've got the Steelers, Browns money line, or the Steelers Browns total, or, something along those lines. Just to let you guys know that maybe there's some value in a play, and you can hit it if you see it. So just, try. Listen, there's a lot of, I hate to use the same word twice, but there's a lot of value in betting live value. So if you see a play that you like live, especially if one that just doesn't make sense. I mean, it was just like the Chargers, was the Chargers Chiefs game. Yeah. Chargers Chiefs, right? That was the Thursday night game.
Yep.
Yeah. So Chargers Chiefs game. And I doubled down on that Thursday night game, and I hit that one twice.
What was your bet?
The original one was 42.5, and then I got 49.5.
That's right. And then 52.5.
And then 52.5.
That's right.
And the original bet I had for a unit, the 49.5, which squeaked by with the 48, and then the 52.5, obviously covered by, 4.5 points. But both of those I hit for larger, and actually had a pretty good night off of those two. So you just see opportunities like that, and you just run with them. So
yeah. And I think that game is on Prime Video.
Yeah.
So if you don't have Amazon Prime, go get it. Just go stream it. Who cares? It's only a few more extra bucks a month. Starts at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at First Energy Stadium in Cleveland, Ohio.
Just real quick, just to kind of touch base on, we only got a couple minutes left, so I'll make this fast. But big money bets are on Pittsburgh right now. You've got 74% of the bets, 76% of the money. You've got line movement that has gone from 2.5 to 4.5. Okay. So remember what I just said. Pittsburgh seeing most of the money, but is that money going to start to move the line back from 4.5, or is that reverse line movement come in and it's still on, Cleveland's still seeing the 2.5. So gonna be interesting to watch this one. I'm gonna watch it a little bit closer to kickoff. If I see that line come back, I know that the Vegas is adjusting to the money. But if I see that line go any deeper, I'm gonna say, okay, they think Cleveland's probably gonna do something here.
Yep.
Which makes me
Cleveland's a better team, or do you think the Steelers are a better team?
Ooh, I think it's tough.
It's a pretty even matchup.
I think it's a pretty even matchup. I mean, obviously you have two shaky quarterbacks, you have two elite running backs. I'm sorry, I guess technically three.
2-on-1 and
two elite running games. Maybe that's the right way to say it. You've got a couple good wide receivers for both squads. I would give the edge to the Steelers just because of their defensive and coaching prowess, but I don't know, man. Like you said, it'll be a fun game. Browns are 0-1 at home, so they are looking to have a bounce back game. And Steelers are 1-0 on the road, so it'll be good. It'll be damn good. That's for sure. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So
awesome. What's your score projection or score projection?
I think this game goes over the original total. I think it probably finishes in the 20s. So that's why I'm hoping that maybe it's a little bit of a slower start. I can see that total dip down like 34, 35.
Yep.
And then I'll hit the over. So hence why I said, I'm looking for that over versus I want to team to score early and then I hit the under, because I don't like the under in this game, because I always see this one having the propensity to being a tie ball game and going into overtime for some reason.
And so far in the first couple of weeks, I have noticed first halves have been slow for almost everybody. And then that second half comes out and it's just like defense said, we're done. And then touchdowns galore. I mean, if you watch that Miami Ravens game, like
I will say I heard a statistic earlier this week that NFL unders have hit well more than NFL overs have. So Vegas will start to fix that as well. So,
yeah. And and Saturday night, maybe Friday, Saturday, whenever we decide to do our next show for Sunday's games, I want to talk a little bit more about strategy, what we have been trying as far as for unders.
Yep.
We tail some people on TikTok that we kind of tested their little theory, and 75% last week. So I was pretty happy with that. So we'll leave it at that. Again, if you guys want to follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter, it's at Ballin Out Plus, or you can follow Brad and I on TikTok. Brad's Ballin Out Plus Brad, and mine is at Ballin Out Braden. So you can listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcast, or you could go onto our website at www.ballinoutplus.com. If you have any questions, concerns, issues, daddy issues, don't bring those to the table, but you can email us at info@ballinoutplus.com as well. So thank you so much. We are signing off. Catch you guys on the flippity flip.
Later.